What is up? What is up? Back for the first time. It is the Racing Thoughts podcast with your boy AeroGant. So, how did we get here? First of all, I want to welcome everybody for joining. If you came from that other show, I appreciate that, and we will break all of that down on why I'm here and not there. But I wanted to bring out my first guest just because we gotta end this the right way and go over what happened with the other podcast, because a lot of people watched that and it had no closure. So I had to think of who I was going to bring on from the old show, and the only person that I would probably talk to right now is my guy Mac TheWiseSole. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mac to the show.
Yo, what up? What up? What up? What up? Thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
Hey, who else would it be?
I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, it could have been anybody in the world. anybody in the world.
Yeah.
But you here with
your
me.
Boy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. What's going on with you, man? How you doing? Chilling, man. You know, it's been a
new shit. I got new
crazy
digs
week for us. I see that. You got the paint. You got the paint in the background. You cultured.
New studio. This is Basquiat.
Okay.
Paid for it. Cash.
Okay.
Cash.
You making real moves.
Hey, I'm trying to do something.
Got you.
I mean, hey, when life presents opportunities, all I can do is reach for them. Everybody don't want to reach for them. Some people want to ruin the opportunity that they had. And some people want to walk away from a whole opportunity and not say anything else to anybody else ever again. I don't understand that, but I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it. So what's good with you? I wanted to bring you on as a guest and not like the other show. You are actually a shoe-tuber. You do YouTube on a whole nother level. And I wanted to bring you on as Mac TheWiseSole with the sneaker channel, got the sports channel, that guy, and not the co-host. So it'll be somewhat of an interview. I want to get into like some shoe topics with you. But there is an elephant in the room.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me say what's up to the chat. The chat is lit right now. We got the TheWiseSole. He's in here checking in. PR Vegan checking in. I'll just say Davina. I don't want to throw everybody's governments out there. Dark Heart's in the building. Darnice is in the building. Oh, shit. And a big-ass elephant is in the building. We gonna get to it, I promise. The elephant in the room, we will get to. Mac, where you want to start?
Hey, show. Wherever you want to take this, man.
I'm messy. So
sorry, man. Sorry.
I will say this before we get to it. Our friend, the former co-host, my guy Reap. We good. I'm good. I'm not mad at you. I'm hoping you're not mad at me. We ain't beefing. But you about to get these jokes. You about to get these jokes tonight, and I'm sorry. Hit me up. Hit me on the line. Nothing. Don't take it too personal. But these jokes is coming. So Mac, we was talking yesterday. I was debating doing this yesterday because I was fired up. I don't know why I was fired up. I think I talked to too many people, and they was like, "Man, just go on and talk that shit." And I was like, I was ready to go. And I said, I don't want to do this by myself because I'm messy, and I gotta keep some stuff under wraps. I can't put it all out there like I want to put it all out there. So I was like, let me hit up Mac. Let me see if he'll come on and keep the ship straight. Make sure we don't go into too uncharted show territories that people don't know about, because that's what got us here.
Apparently.
Do you want to get a drink?
No, I'm good.
All right, well, I'm drinking for this.
Pacifico. Get you one.
Pacifico. The chat is ready. The chat is ready for the shit.
What up, chat? What up? Dark Heart.
Seemed like
yes, it's carryover. Shout out to Dark Heart.
Shout out to all the carryover.
Shout out to y'all, man, for us.
Make sure before we do anything, y'all go and like. Make sure you subscribe, because this is a brand new channel. Like I'm starting from zero. I don't even know how this is gonna do. This might be grand opening, grand closing. Hopefully, y'all see me later. Because I worked hard. I worked hard on the other show.
Yeah, positive thoughts, brother. Positive thoughts.
Hey, I'm just saying, the other show we started during the pandemic when I ain't have a lot to do. Now I'm back outside. I'm back outside and I'm back in the gym. Like that. I'm back in the gym. I told you a few weeks ago, Big Willie challenge. Pause if you have to.
All right.
I'm on my Big Willie challenge. We gonna lose this. We're gonna lose about 12. 12 the hard way. And then the fellas in the group chat talking about going on a trip.
I saw that.
And I seen the other homie from the group chat just got back from a trip, and in all his pictures he had his shirt off. Yeah, I don't know.
He was being real as the homie Spade would say, he was being light skinned. Real light skinned.
Real Drakish.
Yeah, Drakish. Very
real
much so.
Waffle color. What else? Sandpaper.
Hold on. You saw the picture my guy was posed on a rock in the water.
Laying sideways?
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. Black people can't even swim, yet alone feel comfortable enough to lay on the rock sideways in the ocean.
In the ocean. Who is that guy?
I don't know. He had baby oil on. It was a lot. It was a lot.
There's a lot going on for the homie.
Hey, shout out to the homies. Sergeant Air Show in the building. Sergeant Air Show, I'm going to let you know right now. You will be on this show. You will be a guest on this show. I wasn't the one holding you back. I was advocating for you.
You tried to give him a promotion. You did do that. You tried to promote him. So
what else is going on? Okay, so we got the playoffs. My Lakers are playing tonight. I'm a little worried. That's why I started drinking early.
You should
be drinking over here.
You just need to get it to a game 7, and hope for the best, man. You know, hopefully Bron can go back to 2012-ish Bron, 2013 Bron, and bring y'all a dub.
16 Bron. I take Bubble Bron. Can we get Bubble KCP? Can we get Bubble anybody else? Can AD come out the bubble and actually play? Because right now he a boy in the bubble. He being real light skinnish.
He is. I mean, at this point, you just can't even count on him, right? You just got to roll with what y'all got. Like, it's got to be.
What I can count on is at some point in the time he's gonna fall down and roll over, and it's gonna look like he separated his shoulder, tore his ACL, MCL, PCL, PCP.
It really just be a hangnail problem for him, and then
he roll over and get back up.
That's right. That's him. But man, it's a lot of good games, man. A lot of series are over already. Moving on to the next round, we got a couple games on tonight. Dame is playing the Nuggets.
Dame must see TV. Dame must see TV. Yeah, he went crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Last game, I was done with the Lakers at halftime.
Right.
But you know, you got to see because Lakers is down by 30. It wasn't looking good at all.
Right.
But I had to watch the first couple minutes of the third quarter just to make sure shit wasn't gonna get crazy, and it just kept going the same way. So I'm like, let me flip over and see what Dame's doing.
Yeah.
And he's shooting this team to overtimes, double overtimes, turnaround 3-pointers.
It was just nonstop. I was like, man, they had no answer for him. No answer. They didn't want to foul him. They just let him kept sending shit to overtime. And they still pulled it out. That's the crazy part, is they still pulled that out, man.
That game got me through that whole night, because if I had to dwell on the bullshit that was going on in Phoenix,
right, it
would have been rough.
Yeah.
Thank God for Dame. That's what I'll say.
Thank God for Dame for you, yeah, because we didn't hear nothing about the Lakers after that, really, because they talked about it for a minute, and then it was all about Dame the whole night.
Well, you know, the next day I just totally avoided all the shows. I ain't watched sports shit since Tuesday.
I get like that, you know, when my team takes L's, I just don't watch SportsCenter the next night or the next morning until we play again.
You ain't watched SportsCenter in a couple years.
This guy.
It's been a while.
Nah. I'm back watching it full time because, you know, we winners now over here.
It's been tough sledding.
Nah, we all right. We almost made the playoffs this year. We gonna be back next year. So
who's we?
The Warriors.
It's a new show. Okay. Explain who we is.
Golden State will be back next year. Playoff top 4 seed in the West. Mark it down, record it, put the clip up. So if I have to come back next year and explain myself, record that. Hopefully, I
You know,
don't. So
Clay's acting real light skinish too.
he never
A lot of
stops,
falling,
man.
a lot of falling down over there too. I don't know what to tell you.
He doesn't stop acting light skinned. So yeah, that is a concern. We'll see though. We'll see.
See, Sergeant Airshow he done chimed in on that open invite to my show. He's saying no, it's all good. It's like he knew somebody was holding him back. Who was holding him back?
I can't tell you that, man. I don't know. I think what held him back. This is what held Airshow back. Let's get into everything.
Oh,
I think
it's like
Airshow.
messy.
No, in the group chat, Airshow would make some comments that we'd all be like, I don't know. We want to bring him on for this one. The Joe Smith thing comes to mind, and I think that's when we first started thinking about it. It was like,
when he was like, Joe Smith is a top 10 player in the 90s. Some shit. He was a top power forward of all 90s.
And he was like, rolling with it tough too. He was rolling with it tough, and we was like, at first you kind of think, oh, he playing, and then no.
But we didn't do a sports show though, so Airshow had good points. And I'll tell you this: at no point in time did I ever think Airshow was capping in anything he said in the chat. He was a loyal listener, loyal light skinned listener, loyal.
And this is what also messed up Airshow. He had 2 opportunities. I sent him the link. I was like, hey, I'll invite you in. So and so ain't gonna be here. Both times.
Who put him forward? I was like, yo,
I
can't deal with a 3-man show with who we talking to. Can we get Airshow on the show? Airshow he was missing in action. I think he was playing like miniature golf or something. It was during the pandemic. He was out. Oh shit, he was out. I think he had a house party or something.
That sounds about Airshowish. Yeah.
I seen Airshow with the Duce moving.
Yeah, so he had his opportunities. He just, when the bell rang, my boy wasn't there. So he'll get right though. He'll get right. I know he got the equipment set up. Like I know he ready.
There ain't no way he still got that mic. That mic went back to wherever Amazon, Best Buy, Circuit City.
Airshow still got the setup ready to go, man. He ready.
Whenever he get the
call, he ready.
He attached them mics right back to the bongos that he took them off of.
That might be why he didn't come on the show, because he was like, oh, I don't know, they sit the stuff back. So
I was like, Airshow, why the mic pointing down, bro? I was like, them came from some bongos or something. There's some percussions attached to them motherfuckers. See, Airshow ain't even do shit and he catching heat. So I don't want to hear shit from nobody who did do shit and is about to get these jokes.
Right.
And if they do, send them to Mac. Because I ain't got time for it.
I ain't tripping, man. Send them our way if you got to. But so we want to go right into
the messy shit first, or you wanna talk about what's going on in the world? What's going on in the world? All right, let's just hold on. Let me see who's in here. I need the people who watched the last We Might Say Anything show or listened to it. I need to make sure they're here first, because they have an idea of how we got here. Or shit, you ain't have to watch the last show. Any show. The last 3 or 4 shows when the capping was at an all-time high.
He said, "Yeah, any show you would."
He was wearing a bowler's cap. What is that? The big one, or the shit the London guard wears? He was wearing them caps. He was wearing swim caps, bottle caps. I mean, it was a lot of caps. I ain't having them.
It was pretty. It was a lot going on. It was a lot going on.
All right, let me see. Okay. Let's just get to the shit.
All right.
Let's not dance around it. I want to drink and talk shit. All right, so hold on. You want to start this off?
I'm fine. I'll go. I'll go ahead.
I will chime in where I see fit.
All right. So the We Might Say Anything podcast. What happened?
Greatest podcast in the world.
We had a good run, man.
Can you give it a backstory?
So
how did it come? Where did it come from? When did it start? And how did we get here?
So We Might Say Anything podcast started mid 2020. The idea came up early 2020. We talked about it the pandemic happened. The initial plan was we was gonna try to do it live in the studio, somebody's place, record it all right there, and do it that way. That was the goal and the dream.
The
But then
dream.
the
We
dream,
needed a
yeah.
studio because hands might have been thrown. Who knows? Because I know
Who
there was a
knows at that
couple
point?
invites to pull up.
So we started there, and then obviously YouTube, we just decided to go digital or virtual, and use a system, and go from there. So we started it, got going, started talking a lot of shit to each other. We had moments, and what you find out in the YouTube land or in a podcast when you with your homies or whatever, it's like a boy band. So you like, it's like New Edition. You got your
Okay, yeah.
Bobby, you got your Ralph, then you got your Bell Biv DeVoe. Everybody
All right,
got parts to
real quick. Say who was in the
in the show.
show, and
So
then I need you to break down who was who in New Edition.
got you. All right. So you had AeroGant, you had your boy TheWiseSole, we had Spade, and we had Reap. So if I was to break that down, who would be who? Spade would be our Bobby Brown. And I say that because Spade, you can always kind of tell Spade wanted to do his own thing. He wasn't always there, like as far as I want to be here. He was like,
Yeah, it was like the crack was calling him. We ain't saying look,
I ain't saying
he was doing crack, but there was something that was keeping him from giving his undivided full attention and effort and shit to the group.
Right.
So I'll give you Bobby Brown.
Yeah, Spade had the Bobby Brown thing kind of going, and Spade, he's still our guy. We still fuck with Spade. Spade's my dude. We'll get into it later. Arrow, you was like Ralph Trez, man. So
I'm Ralph.
You Ralph.
Okay.
And I say that because
you
yeah, you had like, hey, I'm about to do my solo album, and then knew Bobby Brown left and did his thing first, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, I'm gonna just chill back and just kind of try to be a team player. And so I'll give you the Ralph thing.
I'm a man with sensitivity.
There you go. Reap. I don't really know who I could equate Reap to in New Edition. I guess
he's a member of New Edition that was like, he didn't make it to the videos. Like he was in New Edition, then he wasn't. Like there's always a member of a group that was part of the group that you don't know about. Destiny's Child got him. Escape had a member, because I can't think, and I would give him like Ronnie DeVoe.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, because I can see Ronnie DeVoe saying some shit, some reapish things.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or doing some reapish things.
So yeah, that would be my breakdown. I'm gonna
wait. Who are you?
I'm gonna say.
Wait. Let me get it. I got it.
Go ahead.
You Michael Bivens, right?
I was thinking that. I was thinking that. Y'all, I like to get my hands in a little bit of everything. On the production side and all that stuff. I like to.
Some would say Michael Bivens was the ugly one, but I mean, that's not for me to decide.
Look, only one of them gotta like me, so that's all I take out there. Only one person gotta like me, so that's what it is. That's what it is.
Women like everything.
What's your boy Airshaw say though? He said Reap is who?
Wait a goddamn minute. God damn.
He said Reap is ABC.
He said Reap was ABC, another bad creation. So he was what? Where are we going with that? Childish or?
That's funny. That's
funny.
I
mean, that's loaded.
So
attention.
All right, so there was beef between them. We'll talk about that. But the show was moving on. We was kind of doing our thing. And it started getting, I want to say early 2021. It started getting weird with like some of the conversations we'd have in our show. And for the people that watch the show and listen to the show, a lot of it the issues really took part in the after show, where we'd have a lot of issues. It'd be like the after show, because we'd have
the after show was a whole nother show. That's the show I wanted to show.
Yeah,
I needed to get the after show to be the show, but I couldn't get certain people to act the way they did on the after show,
because
that's when all the arguments would happen.
It wasn't the same show that you guys would see. Everything we would leave, and the cold part is a lot of the chat that was there, they could see like, hey, something must have happened. Like, because you remember there'd be questions like, oh yeah, somebody coming back next week?
Are they okay?
Yeah, like, hey,
you don't look good down there. The bottoms, man. The bottoms was sensitive.
I'll say this: the homie Spade, he took the jokes and he understood what it was.
because the
Spade
jokes is
rolled
gonna come.
right. Spade rolled with the jokes. You know, he had the one moment, you know, where he's like, hey, we're gonna lay off Mrs. Spade, but he had the moment. But other than that, Spade rolled with him.
That was a little extra. That was some
Right,
pent up things because what he reacted to was. But who am I to say what somebody should react to? And I
right,
gave
right.
him his time, and I let him know everything was good.
So Spade rolled with it. He was like, look, I understand this is all fun and games, you know. We talk about how old he is and all that. He rolled with it. On the other hand, Reap, he didn't really roll with the punches like that. He would get frustrated with us, and it would be built up. So that started happening over episodes, over episodes. There was a few episodes where Spade was out doing some of his coaching stuff, and it was just, you know, the three of us. And those episodes are, when you go back and watch them, they're hard to watch
They're hard to
because
watch. Now, what I'll say is what I've heard about the last few episodes and those episodes in particular is they were funny. Everybody's like, those were hilarious. But for me, those were fucking aggravating, frustrating. I hated it. I hated being on the show. You could see that half the show I'm just like this because I can't believe what's being said
right,
by a person I so-called know.
right, and so as we move on with it, things kept coming up, and it was like Reap would tell a story. And let me go like you said earlier. Reap, you still in the group chat. I ain't got no issues with you, Reap. So
No issues.
there's no
No
issues.
beef. There is no beef. I'm not
We
mad at you for shit. And
nah,
hopefully ending this whole situation will make all the stuff go back to normal.
and I'll say this
Hopefully.
before I continue the story. The show, to those that listen to it and everything, the show had to end so that we all could remain cool.
Some of us.
For the most part, yes. Yeah.
Three of
Yeah.
us.
Right. We had to do it just for that reason alone. And it was best just to do it that way. So fast forward again, 21, we start finding out stuff as we're doing the show, and we don't know if it's lies, if it's cap or what. Reap just started telling us stories of stuff that we've never heard before. And I've known Reap for like 20 years. Arrow's known Reap longer than that. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
probably about 25.
yeah,
Something like that.
something like
A
that.
long goddamn time. And I was finding out new information every week. And it wasn't little information like, hey, I really like going to the beach on
Right.
Sundays. And we're like, oh, that's cool. You got to get some time with yourself or whatever. No, he'd be like, I had a whole career you never heard of. I was an exotic dancer with tassels on my nipples. And I'd be like, wait, what? Come on now, bro. And he'd be like, yeah, had a tongue ring in too. I'd be like, I ain't see you that time. Now
it was a lot of stuff like that.
I will say this: I've known Reap for a long time, but I moved away. I was out of California for like a decade, so my interactions with Reap during this time just weren't there. But since I've been back, like we've been right back kicking it. So I thought I knew what I know, if I knew. But tell me how the pre-shows would go with Reap being like, we'd bring up certain topics that we want to talk about, and he'd be like, nah, can't talk about that. And what do we say? I thought the show was called We Might Say Anything.
Right.
We weren't allowed to say much.
And understand, you know, we all took like an agreement that, hey, you know, there's certain things we'll talk about, certain things. If it's off limits, let us know it's off limits, and we'll stay away from that. So we kind of controlled ourselves. But what got weird about it is there were things that weren't off limits that once the show started,
that was crazy as shit.
Right. Once the show started, it kind of became like, nah, why are we talking about that? And it was like we talked about it multiple times in the pre-show. Hey, can we talk about that? I ain't tripping. And then when the show started, right, and then we started talking about it, it became an issue. And it's like anything that was said in the pre-show, hey, don't bring this up. It wasn't brought up.
It was never said.
Never brought up. No
There's nothing you could be mad at.
And there was a lot of good shit we all had that we could have talked about some shit, but we were like, hey, respect the show, respect everybody's, you know, situations or whatever, and we did that. So, by the way,
hold on. Let me just give the first example of that. The first example was the car accident.
Yes.
When Reed was like, I got to get a new car. We like, what? He was like, oh, yeah, I got in this horrible car accident. What, a couple? And we like, when? a few weeks ago. We were like, wait, what? Yeah, it was really bad, really bad. Car flipped over
Right.
13 times, crazy. And then we were like, can we talk about it on the show? Yeah, we can bring it up. Okay, what happened? Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
Talk about it. Right. Yeah.
You don't want to talk about what happened? And nah, I can't talk about what happened, but we could talk about the car accident. I'm like, that's weird, but I'll make it work because a lot of reasons this show started is because I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do, which was talk and like get into shit like deep. And what I found myself really doing with certain people on the show was like carrying a conversation between them two that they wouldn't give you if it was just them. So with Reap, you have to pull stuff out of him because he's not going to answer questions. You really got to dig deep. So my thing with Reap was like, yo, if we can't talk about what happened, can I speculate on what happened? Now, if you know me, that's going to be a million times worse. You should just tell what happened.
All right.
But at this point in time, he didn't even tell us what happened. So I was like, all right, so we can speculate. He was like, yeah. So then that turned into like me saying he was drinking and driving, had a minor in the car doing silly shit and crashed the car. And some of the shit was worse than that, but I can't even remember what I said. He was okay with that. That was fine. Now, after the show, he told us what really happened in the car accident, and that was way unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I said, that's the story you should have told on the show. It's a lie. I don't believe it for a second. And if you think about what I'm talking about, think about what happened with the car accident. Was that believable? No. And that's when I knew, I don't know if we can do this for an entire show. I don't know how that will go with because that was just crazy. There's no way that story was true. But it was very reapy thing to say, and it would have fit in the show. Now I would have had to break that shit down and take it apart.
That's fair.
But that was the first instance that I knew we might have a problem. And that might have been week 7.
Was it? Damn.
It was early. No, it was
on.
early. It might have been earlier than that because we focused on, I think that was after the speeding ticket and all that shit. Cause we was like, yo, you racking up a lot of points on that, on whatever you got going on.
Right.
And he didn't want to talk about it.
I think what messed up Reap, and again, I'll say this, in an objective view, is when the lights came on,
Reap went away, or no, the person we knew as Reap went away, and a whole new person came out,
and
this nigga turned into a gremlin.
Right, this is me trying to be the homie and be like, nah, he gonna fight through, he gonna pull through, he gonna be okay. And I was being told, hey, this ain't working with this nigga.
I said that shit. You ain't gotta. This is my show. Look, I said all that shit. Called in, text, like, yo,
Mac, you gotta let him go.
This might be a problem. This might be a problem. I was finding myself getting way too upset on a show that we started off as all friends, and then I couldn't get the truth. I couldn't get to the truth.
Right.
He wouldn't share real shit. And how are we having conversations? And I don't know what's coming back.
Yeah, it got tense, man. It got tense. There was a situation February, March. It almost ended the show then. We was almost done then. Like
you talking about
accusations, that came out, like, because I was done. Personally, I was done. I was like, I think Arrow had to like talk me back into it and be like, yo, just da 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 da. And
when I should have been the one who was mad, I was like, yo, this is something you brought on yourself, because I said we should have fixed this problem earlier.
I think there's still, I don't want to say wounds from that, but I think everything isn't healed from that situation. And Reap, if you listen, you kind of still have to make that right with people, man. Like, you gotta accept accountability and have these conversations with them and say, hey, this is what I thought, my bad, da 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 da. So needless to say, we almost ended the show then, and it was like some crazy shit.
I think we took a week off.
We did. We had to, man, because it was some shit, man. So we fast forward. Here we go. The episode. We're gonna call it the episode. I might have to rename.
The plan. No, I named it's the plan. Okay. The plan.
So we had an episode the last time we recorded a couple weeks ago, I think it was. So there was a chat person in the chat that was being overly repping Reap a lot. And it started off like it was funny at first because the person came in, going in at Spade kind of hard. And at first we looked at it, we're like, all right. And Spade had done nothing wrong. Like Spade is just being Spade. He ain't done nothing wrong. And then the questions and the comments heading towards Spade got real personal. And it was personal to the point where it was personal because there were issues. These were issues that weren't things that weren't said on the show prior that I'm aware of, that I remember. I don't think they were said at all.
Never.
That just wouldn't have been known for somebody to go at Spade about. And again, Spade had done nothing wrong. Then the heat started turning to me, and it was jokes at first, like, hey, da da da, give me some shoes or whatever. And it just started like, why are me and Spade being targeted? And this person starts defending Reap. What they say? Reap,
Not defending Reap. It was
was weird
weird.
shit. It was
It was
Reap
like,
had nice
yo,
waves and all
Reap,
kind of
Reap,
shit.
You're so cute. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, Reap, okay, don't tell me you put a plant in the chat to big you up, because at no time do we ever have anybody rooting for any individual in the show. That's never happened where somebody was like, no, I like this person on the show, and the rest of y'all can kiss my ass. And I was like, okay, Reap, and this isn't the first time there was a plant, alleged plant in the chat that was cheerleading for Reap. There was one other instance that I sourced out. I was like, they were like, Reap's making some great points tonight. And I was like, yo, who is that? Did some investigating, found a connection between them and Reap. And I was like, yo, we can't be doing that. Don't put plants in the audience.
This is the thing. We all have friends and family or whatever that listen to the show, and they just roll with the show. Like nobody, Spade had people go at Spade. I've had people go at me, and it's all fun and games or whatever.
And I was called an asshole for like the first 12 shows, because I was the
minimum
going in and figuring out all the bullshit that was being said by Reap, and nobody else was following it. I'm like, yo, if y'all knew what I know, y'all will see it. And then eventually that tide changed.
Right. And so we get in the show, and Reap's just going in saying, hey, I don't know what's going on right now. He's in denial. So what a lot of y'all won't know is we can communicate with each other, behind the scenes or whatever. So I'm hitting up Arrow like, yo, what's going down? Arrow, this the cool part. This was the one episode where Arrow can't actually read the chat because he ain't got what he need in to see everything in the chat. So he can only see what we put on the screen.
Oh, I ain't had no glasses.
Right.
Or no contacts. I was just out there. I'm just living life like, because I know the situation going on. I don't know it's being talked about. I don't know that y'all know the situation's going on, and I ain't want to bust nobody out. Right. At that moment. At that time.
At that time. And so I hit Spade up and was like, yo, Spade, I think this is what's happening. And Spade again comes through being respectful, like, hey, all right, cool. Because I could tell Spade wanted to go in. And if anybody should be apologized to, Reap got to make that right with Spade. Like,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
He got to make that right. But anyway, so go back to that. This person, this character in the chat is just going in. Reap is trying to tell us to ignore the person in the chat. And it's hard to do that when you have one person that's literally trolling your chat and commenting after comment. And then this is what started to piss me off. Is the person started actively rooting against the show. And when I say that, people in the chat currently, they were rooting for people to leave the show, the chat, and say, hey, your numbers are getting lower and lower. And I'm like, what are we doing here? What's the goal? What's the dream? Like, why are you actively rooting against us? And so that's where I started getting frustrated and started getting pissed off about the whole situation. And again, the homie Reap, we kept asking, hey, Reap, who is this? Do you know who this is? Nah, I don't know who it is. Nah. And we talked about this. It could have easily been handled in the show. It could have saved anything.
Okay, let me jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
Again, from this first comment that we saw from this person, I knew who it was. I let them do whatever they were doing. They were going in on you and Spade hard, and I'm asking the questions like, "What's all this about? Why are you going in on Spade?" I wasn't understanding. In my head, I'm thinking the only person that they should really have a problem with is probably me because I'm the one who be pointing all this shit out. Lo and behold, nothing's being said about me. I think the whole chat is waiting for it all to come my way. I was waiting for it to come my way. Now, based on who this person was to Reap, I let everything go. I kept it respectful. I asked the chat to block them. They would block them for what, 300 seconds or whatever. I think there was a time limit. And then the person would come back in like, and they weren't just putting stuff that you may have saw on the visuals. It was behind in the actual chat where I'm gonna say like 100 messages came through, and they were just random messages. They weren't even about the whatever we were talking about. And I'm like, Reap, you know who this person is. Come on, just say it. Just admit it. You put a plan in the audience. We can't be doing that. Don't do that shit. Reap's like, yo, I don't know who that person. And I'm like, come on. You don't know who that is? He's like, nah, we don't know each other. They're going back and forth. She's talking about, ooh, Reap, I love your waves. And I'm like, Reap, can't nobody see your hairline. People think you bald. This person obviously knows you. Now, the chat all is saying that this person obviously knows Reap. They're still doing the charade. And I'm like, yo, just say you know the person, put it into it. And that was us giving him a way out to say, look, I know who this is. I appreciate whatever you're trying to do, but please stop. I don't need this. Or to go away from the camera, call whoever it was, and let them know this had to stop. None of this happened. They just kept up the charade. So at that point in time, I said, Reap, you don't know that person? He was like, nah. I'm like, put it on the show. He was like, no, I don't know that person. I'm like, put it on the friendship. And he was like, I don't know who that is. And I said, well, we can't do a show because if we just out here just lying, like it's funny to say Reap caps about everything because he caps about everything. It's funny to y'all because y'all hear it. It's not funny to me because we got to go back and forth with this person. But this was over the line. Like, I know you know who that is, and I know whoever, whatever that Mac knows and Spade now knows, and everybody knows. The chat knows. Whoever's listening now knows. Our one listener in France knows. Everybody knows you know this person, and he just kept lying. So then the person goes on to start saying stuff that only Reap says in the post-show meetings about I need a chance to talk and get my thoughts out and blah, blah, blah. And then that person started commenting all of those. So we gave Reap the floor and Reap gave us nothing back. Oh, shit. Here comes the questions. Oh, wait a minute. Don't do that. Whoever that is, don't do that. I ain't going to say who that is, but don't do that. Okay, so Darnice is saying, how come you guys don't want to continue the show with just the three of you, leaving Reap completely out of it? Mac?
Fair question. So what really ended it per se was Spade had enough with it. Spade had enough with it, and Spade is my guy. So if Spade was done, I was done. So I was like, me and Spade go back to third grade. Like we go back a long way. So when Spade was like, you know what, that was over the top. It was a little bit too much. He's like, I'm done. And he literally put it in the group chat instantly. Like,
he left right after the show. Right. There was no post show for Spade. The show ended. He was gone.
He was done.
And then we got a message. He said, that was my last show. I'm done. And that was it.
Right. And I gave him a day, like to, I was like, let me let him sleep on it, and see if he still feel the same way. And so I guess Reap kept going on in the chat talking about, hey, topics for the next episode. And Spade left the group chat. Like it said Spade left the group. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah. So I knew it was over at that point. And so without Spade doing it, I didn't want to move like that. And I just felt like, you know what? let's all just remain cool as can be, and move on from there. And that way we can focus on our individual stuff. I can get back to my sneakers and sports. Arrow can start his stuff and get it rolling, and go from there, and then get things moving.
Yeah,
Obviously,
because Morris Day didn't need to join the revolution when he could start the goddamn time.
right. And
And in
so
this scenario, I'm Morris Day.
he said this and on Morris Day. Hey, get your who's Jerome though? Somebody going to mirror like
Ooh,
air show.
you know who? Nah, he too light skinned. I need hell nah. Airshow probably hit me with the goddamn mirror. Look, he's like, look, I'm the only pretty motherfucker in this moment.
That's a great question, Darnice. Though that's a great question though. But
Darnice, you'll get your wrench over here too. Like, hey, if you had a wrench over there, you'll get a wrench over here.
And so that's kind of how that went. And it's unfortunate that it had to go that way because it could have easily been handled. And I think if had it not, let me say this: him having the plant or whatever, it's whatever.
It's who the plant was. Fuck that.
It's okay. It's who the plant was, but it's allegedly you taking stuff and telling the plant, and it's becoming personal attacks. Like
you're taking stuff that's not brought up on the show. Which, if you know anything about the last show, what we would say is, if it was brought up on the show, we could talk about it at any point in time.
Right.
What the plant was doing was bringing up shit that was never on the show and throwing it up on the show, only on Spade for some odd reason. Now, we always went with them two never liked each other. They were only in a bottom relationship. And I don't know how, first of all, happy Pride Month to all, but I don't know how a bottom relationship could last if you got two bottoms. Somebody in there's got to be the top. But shout out to the and they had a good nickname. I gave them a better nickname than the Bottoms, which that started in the beginning. What were they? The Truffle Butter Bottom Boys. And I don't know. It was over after 2 weeks.
It just it didn't have to end. Yeah, it didn't have to end, but it was best for.
Oh no, it had to end because where was it gonna go? Look, let's be real.
Yeah,
you were like, I was like, hey, I just hit up Spade. He ain't pick up. Send him a text. He ain't hit me back. Check with Spade. Let me know it's all good with me and Spade because I didn't think we had a problem. I just hadn't heard from him, so I didn't know. And you were like, nah, y'all good. Yeah. And I said, of course, because what the fuck did I do? Now he was like, but Spade's done. And if Spade's done, I'm done. And I was like, well, what the fuck? Because if you who the fuck you think I'm doing the show with? And I was already starting my own shit, which I intended to do both, which wouldn't have never been a problem, I don't think, unless y'all had a problem with it. But I'm Morris Day, so
you Ralph Tresvant, nigga.
I'm both, nigga.
They both light skinned, nigga. So I mean,
Ralph Tresvant ain't really light. If you look at them old videos, like old New Edition, when they dancing on the playground, Cool It Down, and all that shit. When he had the shag,
that was the makeup, nigga. That was the makeup.
Nah, that's real. That's real Ralph Tresvant.
The curl juice,
curl and shit. That was new Ralph Tresvant when they were dancing in the dance studio.
Hilarious. But yeah,
it's all good. I wasn't gonna do a show. I wasn't gonna bring 3 more people to do a show and call it We Might Say Anything or continue that going because we started the show as a thing. We had talked about this for over a year. I wasn't going to do a 2-man show.
Yeah. Let me say this though. Another thing that came up in that chat, this was just shit that started irritating me even more, is when the plant was like, she kept asking, do we have degrees? Like, do you guys have college degrees? And we're like, what does that got to do with anything that we're talking about right now? And
I'm telling you, these were loaded up. They were ready to go for some reason.
And it made no sense. It wasn't relevant to any part of the conversations we were having. And I was like, we all doing well in life. Like, we own property. We doing well in life. And I was like, it seemed like, like I said earlier, the person was trying to like take down the show for whatever reason. Like, when you're
It was,
actively
I
rooting
don't know
against the
what it
show.
was.
Yeah,
It started off building up Reap, then it turned into destroying you and Spade, then it turned into, well, fuck it, I'll just burn the whole thing down. And I'm like, yo,
yeah,
Reap, what the fuck is going on? He's like,
yeah.
you know.
I don't know
And
what's
then the
happening.
show went on to move on to just regular topics that Reap brought up. And then he acted like he didn't know what we were talking about. We were like, all right, we're gonna throw the Reap's topic. He was like, my topic. We're like, you brought
The
this to the
camera got
show,
big up
yo.
on him. Yeah,
We're like, you brought this to us. We didn't even know about it. And it was an OnlyFans topic. And Reap is Mr. OnlyFans. And then what he say? Oh, I'm Mr. OnlyFans? I've never looked at
I never
OnlyFans.
said. Yeah, I don't know anything
I
about it. I
never
was like,
said that.
what?
And I was like, hold on, stop the show. I hate to pull the curtain back, but we go over all this shit before we do the show. He's brought up this topic. He brought it to us. He said what he wanted to talk about. Once he started the topic, he's like, and this so on, whoever, whatever you call their name. I don't know what he said. Who was it? Larsa Pippen?
Yeah,
And
what
he messed up her name on purpose. And I was like, we ain't doing this. Like, nah. We've
I don't
talked
know who
about
that
Larsa
is.
many times.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. She's been on the show. We hope
Nigga,
to have
stop.
her on a guest. She can come here.
Nigga,
Larsa,
stop.
open
Yeah.
invitation. Willing to risk it all.
Right. Wait, what's Infinite Games talking about? Talking about there's no plan. What is that like?
I hate. All right. I mean, nah. I'm not.
All right. There was definitely a plan. I'll say that.
Hold on.
Hold
Hold on. I'll send it to you. All
right.
You guys chat amongst yourselves.
All right.
Tell what else happened.
So
I don't know what else happened.
You know, that got on. Then we started talking about Reap and his driving of the U-Haul up the things he be capping about. Driving a U-Haul 98 miles per hour uphill in the Grapevine. We all not possible, nigga. Stop capping. And that came up saying, I forgot what the person said, but they were like, you guys are mentioning stuff and all this bullshit. Anyway, Reap had a chance to, put everything and dead it, and he just didn't. He couldn't control the situation, and it got out of hand.
And that's not the only reason. It was too many caps. I couldn't take it anymore. I openly fired this man on the show 3 times in the last 3 weeks because every single thing, we couldn't get past the salutations. Like I say, remember we were like, we got to get in, get out, hard start at this time, get out within an hour. And we couldn't get past, hey, how's it going? Because Reap started capping. And I think that's what led to the 106 miles per hour up in the U-Haul up the goddamn Grapevine, pulling the trailer that was smoking in the back. Reap, why you do that? I just wanted to make good time. What are we doing?
And yeah, man, it got out of hand. And then you know what could have also, even though Spade was already gone in the post show and after show, I think had accountability and ownership been taken in the post show, it could have at least mended some shit. And then maybe a conversation could have been had with Spade later. Like, hey, this happened. But instead, it was
what's going on, guys?
Yeah, we're being accused of things again, saying, you guys bully me or you guys pick on me a lot.
Facts. That was after he copped to the plant. All right. Not the plant. He didn't cop to the plant. He copped to knowing the person that was the plant.
Right.
And that was right after the show. And I'm like, well, you just lied on the show. So we can't go back and forth and tell anything that's the truth, what are we talking for?
Right.
So he cops to the plant, cops that he had nothing to do with it and had no idea. But the plant was only saying shit that Reap said to us in post shows about how the show was going.
Right.
Then he followed up saying he didn't put them up to that, but then followed up with the same shit the plant was saying at the show. Well, you guys don't let me blah, blah, blah. And I can't feel come on now.
And you know what's funny about all that though is if Reed would have just fed into and developed himself as far as getting better every episode, it all made sense that we were raggedy at the beginning. We was kind of rough because we were all new to this as far as being on a pod together like that. Spade found his footing and he ran with it. You found your footing and you ran with it. Had Reap just found his footing and 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 owned it, I think he would have been fine. But he started, the lights got to him, man.
It
Like,
started going. I mean, he couldn't get a story out. Would bring
right,
stories to the table. I would be in the pre-show like, yo, you got this? I got this. All right, all right. You got this. You know what you're talking about. You did the homework. You read up on the story. You know what's going on in the shit you're talking about. Yeah. Then we get to the story. He'd say a couple words, yada yada yada, look like this, and say, and then they all died. Like every story would end with like, then they all died, or and then something happened, and you'd be like,
right.
that ain't the story at all. And then I would have to jump in and actually tell the story because I know I got to do the homework because the story's not going to get told right if I don't. So that's not putting in the work. Then there was other shit behind the scenes about how much effort people were putting in the show and shit. And it just got to a point where if we're gonna be friends,
That's eventually,
if
yeah.
three of us are gonna be friends, now whatever three it may be, me, you, and Spade, me and you, me, Reap, and you Reap and me.
This the
It
thing.
was gonna be threes one way.
Reap just has to man, if you haven't Reap, if you listening, you haven't reached out to Spade, reach out to him, man. Like
Well, I
reach
told him
out
that.
to him. Yeah, reach
It's
out to
on
him,
you to
man.
make it right, and the text ain't gonna do. You gotta call that man and make it right based
Pick up
on the
the
stuff
phone.
that was said in the thing and the way Spade's taking it. Even if it doesn't appear that way to you, that's how he's taking it.
And I don't want to speak for Spade. You know, if Spade ever want to come on, he can speak for himself.
I invited
Spade
Spade to the show tonight.
Spade
Spade
isn't
did not decline. He just didn't hit me back.
Spade isn't gonna necessarily hold a grudge against you forever. Like Spade will just be like, fuck it. But if you have a conversation with Spade, he'll have that conversation with you. And man to man, y'all can talk that stuff out and go from there. So you in this we in the same group chat. I mean, so you have access to him,
Right
but
now, they
call
talking
him.
around each other. It's kind of like us in the group chat in February.
Yeah,
Certain niggas
actually,
is only responding to certain niggas.
right. And honestly, this whole year, 2021, the group chat been kind of dead, man. Like it don't really even be a group chat no more because we was just like, everybody. You said everybody not
That's
responding
been
to everybody, and it'd be like, things is awkward. So you,
people reading other people's group chat messages in a voice that they think it was typed in. I'm guilty as fuck of that. If you getting on my nerves and I read a message from you, it's gonna be put in a voice that I think you sound. It ain't
so
nice.
right. So
Anyway,
like you said, the show ended so we could all remain cool, and it was for the best. And we gonna roll with that. And again, Arrow has no issues with people. I have no issues with anybody. I'm not gonna speak for Spade. I'm not gonna speak for Reap. If they want to come on and say their piece,
they
you
are
know.
both more than welcome to talk it out. Now I don't know, see, because I ain't gonna spend too
You
much
probably don't
time.
want to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
ain't gonna spend too much time here. But I will, if there's a rebuttal to anything that we said tonight, I will give either one of them the opportunity to come on the show and talk about it.
And that's fair. And that's fair.
But I stayed in the lane tonight. I ain't get too crazy. So
I mean, it's nothing to really. We told nothing but truths. You know, we ain't mentioned who anybody is. We just mentioned that Reap knew who the person was and didn't put an end to it on the show when he could have stopped it. And
and outwardly lied about knowing the person on the show when questioned about knowing the person on the show.
it that's the funny thing about it is there was no reason to do that. You
Nope.
didn't have to say who the person was to you. You could have just, I know the person. You know,
I know the
this is who it
person.
is. Da da da.
Give me a
Hey,
second. I'm gonna send this
yeah,
message out. Hey, or jump in the chat. Hey, so and so, can you
chill.
stop, please?
Right,
You're making it hot.
right. And I'm like, that's all that needed to be done. And so we literally,
I'm not saying that's all it would have took either, but I'm
no, no,
sure Spade would have felt a lot better about it. I'm sure I
right.
would have felt a lot better about it.
And again, I understand why Spade dipped out as soon as he dipped out. Like I would have done the same thing. I'd have been like, okay, as soon as we was out, he was out. And yeah, man, that shit wasn't cool, man. Like That shit wasn't cool. It's on you to make things right with everybody that you feel needs to make right.
Just buy
And
me something. Buy me, like, man, I could be bought. You could buy me something.
you
I'll take a
fertile?
case of. Nah, I'm saying like, I mean, I like sneakers or something. Like,
He said, "Oh, he gonna buy you some Pumas. He
nah,
gonna
I'm
buy you
good.
some.
I'm good. I'm good.
he gonna
I'm good
he
on
gonna
the
buy you some
Clydes.
from the
Good on the
outlet.
young Clydes.
He gonna get you on the outlet. But yeah, man, just make sure you reach out and make sure everything was right. Because for a minute, he even thought like nothing was wrong. Like he
He
just
thought
kept
we was
moving.
doing the show this week.
Yeah, he was like, we kept moving. I was like, bro, it's issues, man. So Reap, this isn't for him. Like these kind of shows or what we do, what you doing, this isn't something that I think he can excel at. Like if you put him in like a sports scene or something, let him do some sports shit, he'll stat you to death with Reap. He'll get all
Might be the
behind the scenes with
boringest
numbers.
sports stats or you ever thought. Nobody likes stats.
Right.
This
But
is not
he'll be able to
analytics
talk.
corner.
He'll be able to talk. He'll be able to spit the numbers out to you or whatever. And he can do that. This just might not have been best for him. And I think the pressure got to him. He I don't know if he felt that he needed to make up stories to feel cool or important. I don't think it was necessary. Nigga, we couldn't do anything for a year. So there was no reason to say, hey, we're doing anything at that point because nothing was really happening. We weren't open. And a lot of the stories he had, for the most part,
Had to
probably
be
could have.
capped. It was so crazy. Like,
Yeah.
no, that didn't happen. Okay, that happened. Tell me how that happened. And then the how that happened was crazier than what happened. And then it kept getting bigger. Everything kept getting bigger. And I was like, I can't take it. I can only take so many caps.
He might have been trying to live up to the previous episode before that, and before that, like I gotta get bigger and better. I gotta have a bigger and better story. And I'm like, okay,
don't do that here.
It didn't
Not
have
with
to
me.
be that way. Yeah, it didn't have to be that way. So that's kind of what happened with the We Might Say Anything podcast. We do appreciate everybody that tuned in.
We apologize to the listeners, to the viewers. I mean, it sucks that it just ended. It was really starting to pick up, and we did 40 episodes. I was on all 40. I think Mac, you were on all 40.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I was committed, and I was gonna do it. It was giving me headaches at night, but I was willing to hang in there and try to keep getting better. And we just ultimately had to tap out.
Yeah.
But we appreciate everybody who came through, everybody who listened, everybody who I would say paid for something, but we got a lot of takers in the chat. A lot of takers, not a lot of givers. Whole bunch of takers. Whole bunch of takers.
Very possible. Very possible. But
I'm kidding. It's all jokes. Don't leave. I need you. I just started.
Y'all, Arrow, I appreciate you having me on the show. You already told I gotta run and do this thing real quick.
Yep, you always got a home here. We don't end it here. We don't even got to keep going on. I just wanted to ask you about one thing. Right. If you have time to talk about, you the shoe guy.
Go ahead.
You work at Foot Locker, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah, or what'd you say? Nike store?
Nike store or something? Yeah.
The situation going on with Vanessa Bryant and Nike today is very troubling to me because if anybody knows me, they know Kobe Bryant is my Michael Jordan. I've named the child Kobe. Like, I'm huge Laker fan. I'm still not over this the death of Kobe and Gigi. And the way Nike is interacting with Vanessa is putting me off as a person who loves to buy shoes. And now I'm conflicted. So if you could just get the background on what happened today.
So Vanessa this morning made a post on I believe it was Instagram. She posted this statement pretty much saying, there were a pair of Kobe Black Mamba, I think it were Kobe 6 Pro Tros that came out or that was in design to come out that was being done by Nike that honored her daughter Gigi and Kobe. These shoes, as she said, were never okayed. So she never actually signed off on these shoes to actually be made. But somehow Nike went ahead, and as Nike, as a business, you probably would do, you would cut models of the shoe. They might have made so many of these saying, hey, this is the idea we want to go with, whatever. Somehow the samples, there you go. Somehow those shoes got put into the hands of certain I guess it was like a retail store or outlet store, some sort of store that had a raffle for his actual I want to say it was his Hall of Fame shoes that came out,
Yes, a
and
few weeks ago, right?
a few weeks ago, right? And the person won the raffle for the Hall of Fame shoes. Somehow, some way, they actually sent out the GG Kobe collab shoe to the
Those
person who won the
bastards.
raffle, right? And so this person had a sample shoe that wasn't okayed and wasn't supposed to be made. Vanessa saw these pictures on the internet, obviously, and what was cold was in her statement. She was like, "I don't even have these shoes." She talked about how she personally had input on the design of the shoe,
On the design and where the money was going.
right? Where the money was all gonna go, the proceeds or whatever. And for her to see somebody else with this shoe honoring her daughter and her late husband is troublesome because somewhere Nike dropped the ball, and it sucks because I mainly wear a lot of Nikes. Nikes is my go-to shoe. Yeah, I
Oh, I'm
have
sorry.
other
Did you
brands.
mention that their contract was up with Kobe?
Oh
They
no,
didn't renew.
right. That was another thing she mentioned. We known this for like a couple months now that she hadn't renewed the contract with Nike to keep making more Kobe Bryant retro shoes or any kind of Kobe merch through Nike. And apparently they were on the way to start making their own brand. They probably would have had Mambacita. She had just
Yeah.
dropped the clothes. Her daughter's clothing line pretty much came out like less than a few weeks ago,
Yep.
and so
Well, she
that was
didn't like the fact that Kobe's were too hard to get. Nike was withholding pairs. They didn't make them available for everybody, and the resale for the Kobe's that everybody wants because they just want a part of the man are unattainable to regular people. You really got to be in the game to get them.
right. And she was actually fighting for the consumer. She
Yes.
understood there were actual Kobe fans out there who wanted his shoes, not to just resell them and do all that, but because they were Kobe fans, a lot like yourself, Arrow, who was a fan of the player, the man, and everything. And so she didn't renew the contract, and we were all hoping that this was just more of a negotiation thing that was happening behind the scenes, and maybe down the line something would have been worked out to where she would have got what she wanted as far as Nike donating money to whatever kind of charity she wanted to set up. Because I'm sure
Come to
that have a
some kind of an agreement.
right
Anything.
anything
Hope
until this morning.
today.
I think all hope kind of went out the way, man. Like that, she pretty much said, Nike, you played us and you did some stuff that I didn't authorize. So you look at the person that actually received the shoe and posted the shoe. Obviously, this kid, man, who I don't know what he was getting a little heat, and you can't necessarily blame him because he didn't know. He just kind of opened
You
the box
know,
and
taking that picture and posting it was going to bring all of this.
all this, right,
And Vanessa be on the social media. She don't play when it comes to anything about Kobe or Gigi.
right,
And,
and
and the fact that she ain't had the shoe
that, that
and that
that's
shoe had number 2 on it.
that's gotta hurt, man. Like, and Nike, this is upon Nike to make things right with whatever they do. Like they obviously got to make sure they have a conversation with her, not even on some let's negotiate some stuff, but on an out of respect thing. And I got a question for you, Arrow. At some
Yeah.
point, when does you got LeBron, Nike guy? Jordan
Mm-hmm.
obviously has relationships with Nike.
Most
Both
flex.
right. Most people know both of those men have relationships with Kobe and the family. When do they come in and say, "Hey, we
The
gotta
clock is
we gotta
ticking.
say,
The
yeah,
call should have been made already. I know LeBron got a lot on his plate today, and I don't want to get involved with what he's got going on. But
right,
the first chance he gets, LeBron ain't got to do it. Get Rich,
Rich Paul,
Mav,
right, yeah,
somebody better make a call and make the situation right, because until Nike does right by Nessa, ain't no good coming to Nike at all. And I say that as a person with too many goddamn Nike shoes in the room to be talking shit.
right, and that's got to also frustrate you because at this point you got to think there can't be too many more Kobe's that are coming out that have
I
already
think
been
there's
signed
one
off.
more. I think
Yeah,
there's one more.
and you can't feel good about that because at the end of the day, you want to go back to the shoes that you saw that man wear when he was playing. Obviously, if you're another shoe company that had a relationship with them like Adidas has a chance to come in and hey, we could work with you on some stuff.
Roll them old bullshits back out.
Right,
I'll
right,
buy them. I'm there for it.
Right. And unfortunately it's still a business and they have to look at it that way. But she is a protector of an estate. And
Mhm.
obviously you can tell she's real serious about this. Like she's not playing. Like
She
I
was
don't
on
think
that
we've
shit
ever
at like 6 o'clock this morning. She lives in California. We are
yeah,
here. She was
yeah,
up before I was up.
yes.
And how long it take Vanessa to get ready? That's all I'm gonna say. She always looks amazing.
Amazing,
I think she
right?
took a picture when she took it.
She she is not playing with this, man. And somebody's got to go there and make some phone calls. Nike gotta have to make this right. I think it's real unfortunate that we even got to this point with that. Like behind the scenes, somebody need to fly out to LA or wherever she is right now, and they got to
I
face to
mean,
face that with her.
this is what she wanted. All she wanted was them Kobe shoes to be more accessible. She wanted a lifetime uh deal
Contract,
contract,
right?
and she wanted everybody who wanted Kobe's to be able to get Kobe's. I for some reason I don't think that's too much to ask for. Jordan got a
And
lifetime contract. LeBron got a lifetime contract. No shoe is more worn more in the NBA than Kobe's. This was an easy deal to do it. Nike's got more than enough money. Lord knows I've sent them a lot.
we've
Well, you
financed a
work
lot of
there. You work there, so you
yeah
know you get that discount.
we financed a lot of Nike
A
things.
lot of trips, a lot of jet fuel.
Yeah, it's oh snap. But yeah, so I look at it this way. Nike definitely needs to make this right. Um they just for the honor and the legacy, especially with this shoe. If anything, make it right with this shoe. If you decide,
Exactly.
hey,
If they were trying to put that shit out on the sneak, I done lost all respect from Nike. I don't know what that means going forward for me, but
oh,
I whatever I do, I don't feel good about it. If I
are
gotta
we going?
get rid of some Nikes, I don't feel good. If I gotta wear them, I don't feel good.
Either way, yeah, you're gonna have some sort of thing. But if they only make it right with this shoe, and I mean, if they decide, hey, you know what, all right, cool. What we gonna do? You don't want to re up with us? This is what we gonna do. Sign off on this shoe. We gonna match. You give us the amount that you want us to make on this shoe. We'll make that amount available. They do that. All the proceeds go to the Mambasita Foundation, and just make it right. And it's a win-win for everybody because at that point, the true Kobe fans can go out and obtain this shoe. Hopefully, there's still resellers out there that are gonna try to swoop up everything and do all that. No air show. I don't support the reps. I don't do that over here. You know, that might be your thing, not me. But you you gotta
What's
make
the
it
reps?
right.
Hold on. What's going on here?
Air show in the comments right there. He's saying buy reps. I don't rock
Reps?
reps. Yeah, I don't rock reps.
What the fuck's a rep?
Reps are replicas.
Oh,
Not
that's what we're nah. What are
yeah,
they?
yeah. DH Gate. This guy.
We don't do that over here.
We
All these
don't-
shoes back behind this real Basquiat
Look,
painting are
look.
real.
Real. Look. See, I got a black light. You can black light all my shoes. My shit's real over here. So I
That's a
don't
whole
do
nother conversation. I'm gonna
yeah,
have to bring you on to talk about why you got a goddamn black light.
yeah. It's
I
for the
mean,
shoes, man. You
I
always
mean
gotta
that's
check your
different.
shoes. Yeah. I ain't gonna talk about that on the show. I do got a camera that's pointing toward my bed, but it just happens to be there right now. Anyway, thanks
Oh,
for having me
okay,
on the show.
okay. You started getting that OnlyFans popping. You like, all right, we might say anything. That might get somebody wants this teddy bear.
Hey, you know what it is, man. You know what it is. But again, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate
Thank you for
bro.
coming on. First show, first guest, first everything. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to anybody watching now, anybody that might be listening later. We love you here. Do yourself a favor and never fight a bear over no motherfucking dog. And we out this bitch.